What's up, people? In this video, I'm going to tell you the 7 best nootropics for being productive in creatine. It's my speed bag right there. Boom, 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 boom. I miss life. Okay, anyway, the 7 best nootropics for being productive in quarantine. If you are in quarantine right now, like me, like your neighbor, like everybody else, you're bored, you hate everything. I do too. You wish you could go outside, but you can't go outside because the government is stupid. Anyway, that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is how to be productive in quarantine. I'm going to tell you how to do it with obscure powders that you've never heard of called nootropics that you can buy conveniently online with your mommy's credit card. Okay, so here we go. The 7 best nootropics for being productive in quarantine. Nootropic number 1 is something called Adrafinil. What is Adrafinil? Well, Adrafinil is something, I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, called a eugeroic, otherwise known as a wakefulness promoting agent. So basically, in other words, it prevents you from sleeping. Now, this does have, I don't know, I've heard that some people say it's a stimulant, but it's not a stimulant or something like that. It's not a traditional nervous system stimulant like Ritalin or Adderall or like an amphetamine or caffeine or something like that. However, there is an energizing effect of Adrafinil. And you will notice as soon as you take it that you have a very nice little boost of energy for about 2 hours. And then for the rest of the day, you'll have an additional 12 hours of clean energy that many people have likened to a moderately strong cup of coffee. Okay, now the half-life of Adrafinil is about 14 hours. So you take it in the morning and it will last you all day. Adrafinil breaks down into modafinil. Modafinil is commonly prescribed as Provigil. And people love it. It's amazing. It was like super hot on the internet back in like 2011, 2012. You know, you'd see all these blogs about it and people would link to these like Indian pharmacies that would ship it out. Anyway, it's just like whole big deal. I don't want to deal with that anymore. I've taken all that Indian stuff many times. Never got any, never did anything to me, honestly. However, if you want to take Adrafinil, it's much easier. You will get the same effect. You can buy it online, nootropicsdepot.com. Not sponsored by them, not affiliated with them in any sort of way. However, I buy all my stuff from them that I can because they are just that good, very professional. Everything's on time. They're good to go. One quick thing about Adrafinil is that it can't upset your stomach. So I recommend that you drink apple cider vinegar throughout the day as a way to kind of relax your stomach. I used to have issues with that. Just started drinking apple cider vinegar, completely negates all of it. Also, some people say because Adrafinil is metabolized in the liver that it can raise your liver enzymes. I've never had any issues with that. However, if you are worried about that, I think if you're young and healthy and you don't have liver issues, you don't need to be. But if you are, you can take something called milk thistle. It's very cheap. You buy it for like $5, Amazon, you're good to go. Okay, so that is Adrafinil. It will help you be very productive during quarantine because you will be very focused. And more importantly, you will have energy. That's really what it is. You have a nice little boost of energy that will keep you going all day. And I think a lot of the reason why people are not productive is because they don't have any energy. They're just like blobs on the couch sitting there and doing nothing. I clearly have a lot of energy because I take Adrafinil. Well, that's one of the things. Number 2, Noopept. So if Adrafinil is like, we would call this the base of our stack, right? This is something that like you kind of need and everything else builds upon it, right? And then Noopept, we would say is more acute, right? Now, Noopept works similarly to other compounds called racetams. Now, we don't need to get into what those are and what they do, other than to say that they stimulate blood flow to the brain, specifically, if I recall correctly, something in the brain called the corpus callosum. Now, you have 2 hemispheres of your brain, 2 sides, right? In the middle, you have a thin membrane called the corpus callosum. The corpus callosum is what enables the 2 sides of the brain to communicate. And there are some people, this has like been proven by some people who have surgery to like cut the corpus callosum for some reason. They have seizures or something, and they can't like coordinate between the 2 sides of their brain. Sucks for them. However, if you want to be productive in quarantine, what I recommend that you do is you take Noopept, which is very similar to the racetams. You take Noopept when you need to like bust out like an hour of work, right? You need to sit down, you need to write something, you need to like crank out some emails, you sit down and you start doing that, right? You take the Noopept and you're good to go. 10, 20, 30 milligrams, you should be fine. I've taken up to 50 for like a really nice boost. I also noticed that when I take Noopept, it improves my verbal fluency. Sometimes you'll watch my videos and I'll be like, blah, 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 talking. And then like look up and I'm like, oh wait, what's that word? What's that thing I want to say? That never happens to me when I take Noopept, because like everything, that delay is just reduced, right? So number 3, you can buy Noopept from Nootropics Depot as well. Number 3, Centrophenoxine. Centrophenoxine, I might be wrong about this, but it acts as it increases the amount of acetylcholine that your brain can metabolize at once. Basically, it's fuel for your brain. Okay, all of these things. Well, Noopept at least. Think of Noopept like it's very effective, but it uses a fuel called choline. If you don't have enough choline or acetylcholine, which is like a stronger type of choline, nootropics nerds out there, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. In fact, if you are a nootropics pro and I am saying something incorrect, leave me a comment. Let me know. Right down there. Just do it. Also, like this video. Probably also right there. Click that like button if this has been helpful for you. Noopept and Centrophenoxine. Noopept basically uses a certain type of fuel called choline or acetylcholine. Centrophenoxine is that fuel. Now, centrophenoxine is also very good for stroke victims. People who have had a stroke, their brain is damaged in certain areas and they don't have the ability to use all of the, I guess, fuel, we could call it. So when you dump in a bunch of centrophenoxine in there, they're like, oh my God, what's this, all this extra fuel? It's just so much easier to use. So if you know anybody who has had a stroke, I highly recommend that you give them between 1.5 and 2 grams of centrophenoxine per day. You will notice benefits such as improved short-term memory and improved verbal fluency. And there's this other metric that they judge these people who had strokes by that's like improved autonomy or something like that, where they were able to do more things on their own without like having to depend on other people. I don't know what the term is called. That's number 3, Centrophenoxine. It is very good. You can buy, I think, 100 grams from Nootropics Depot for about $37. Number 4, the 4th supplement or nootropic for being productive in quarantine is DHEA. DHEA for me is a game changer. Now, if you have never heard of DHEA, click the like button. If you have heard of DHEA, click the like button. If you have never heard of DHEA and this is the first time you heard about DHEA, subscribe to the channel. This is getting tiring, but I'm going to keep doing it because it strangely works. DHEA, what is DHEA? DHEA stands for dehydroepiandrosterone. This is a supplement or nootropic that is not really mentioned too much these days. However, it has some interesting studies on it where it kind of fills in the gaps of an individual's hormonal profile, specifically older individuals as they age, right? So you're a man, you're not producing as much testosterone as you were before, you take DHEA, it'll help you produce more testosterone. Similar for women as well, I think, but it won't like explicitly increase testosterone per se. DHEA, I want to say, is like a mother hormone, right? Your body uses DHEA to turn into lots of other different types of hormones. Whatever your body needs, whatever an appropriate hormone profile for you would be, as if you were a younger individual. So, for example, I mean, you understand what I'm saying, right? Your body uses DHEA to give you what you had when you were younger. Highly recommend it. I have been taking 100 milligrams a day for about 5 days. And I really honestly noticed today that like, oh my God, I'm like kicked into overdrive. I don't really know what it is, but I'm like amped to the gills. And I've also been sick also for this past week. So like maybe it's helped me get over the sickness, or maybe I'm not experiencing the sickness anymore. And now I'm realizing the true benefit of it. It's possible, but more confidence, more focus, more energy. It's just like, I'm so excited to be alive. I don't know what else to tell you. Also, too much information. Don't listen if I know you personally, but libido up through the roof. Very difficult to manage. Okay, now number 5, the 5th best nootropic for being productive in quarantine is, you've heard me talk about it before, Agmatine sulfate. What is Agmatine sulfate? If you have been subscribed to my channel for any length of time, you have heard me. Anytime I talk about nootropics, anytime I talk about supplements, you have heard me mention Agmatine sulfate. If that is you and you care at all about your health and you're still not taking Agmatine sulfate, I don't know what to tell you. Go to Amazon right now. Actually, go to Nootropics Depot. Boom. Subtle plug for Nootropics Depot. I might send them this video. Click the like button. right now so I can show Nootropics Depot that people actually listen to what I say and they care about my opinion. And then they'll send me free stuff that I can review. In fact, have these reviews been helpful for you? Would you like me to review other products? Well, if you like this video and you support me and you subscribe to my channel and share this video or whatever you got to do, leave me a comment, then Nootropics Depot will send me free stuff and I can review it and you will get more information from me. It's a win-win situation. Now, what does Agmatine sulfate do? Great question. Agmatine is a metabolite of arginine, or arginine, I think it's pronounced. I always said arginine. Arginine is an amino acid that does a lot of stuff, but as far as I know, one of the main things that it does, it increases your body's it increases the amount of nitric oxide or your body's ability to metabolize nitric oxide. I don't know, something to do with nitric oxide, something to do with blood flow. Bottom line, Agmatine will give you great pumps after you work out. A pump is where your muscles fill with blood. Normally, the pumps last for about an hour. When you take Agmatine, they will last for up to 8 hours. Now, that's really cool because when you have a lot more blood in your muscle, your body is kind of flooding it with nutrients. And the idea is that you're going to grow faster, basically. So Agmatine is great for getting a faster result for working out in the gym. Other benefits of Agmatine is that it has a very calm, very soothing effect on your mind. I take 500 milligrams a day. I don't really notice this too much, a little bit maybe, but I've read stuff on Reddit where people will take like 2 grams a day and they feel really good. It's dirt cheap at this point. Another benefit of Agmatine is that if you have pain, I want to say specifically neuropathic pain. Neuropathic is how you say it, I think. Nerve pain. People will take Agmatine instead of something called gabapentin or Neurontin, which can have some unwanted side effects. Agmatine, because it is a metabolite of an amino acid, generally will be side effect free, or at least negative side effect free, because as human beings, we have evolved for the most part to not, need things that will have a negative effect on our body. You could make that argument. So if you have any sort of nerve pain, Agmatine is also good. If you plan on working out, Agmatine is also good. What does this have to do with being productive? Well, if you want to exercise and you take something to make your exercise more efficient, that is technically being more productive because you are fitting more efficiency into a workout. So you can work out for less time, basically. That's the point. Number 6, creatine. Creatine has over 500, I think over 600 studies on it at this point. It is one of the most studied supplements on the market. And there are tons of benefits about creatine. Number 1, it makes you smarter. People who take creatine perform better on tests than people who don't. Number 2, makes your workouts more efficient. Number 3, will give you a slight boost in testosterone, which will make you more like, I don't want to say more aggressive. It'll make you more focused, more aggressive, not like angry aggressive, but more aggressive in terms of going and doing the things that you know that you need to do without procrastinating or like being like, no, I don't want to do it. Creatine is very good for that. There's a ton of benefits of it. Look it up on your own, but start taking it because it is one of the best nootropics for being productive in quarantine. Number 7, going to give a shout out to Wellbutrin. This is technically not or bupropion, I think is what it's called. It's not technically a nootropic. It is Schedule 4. You will have to get this from a doctor. There are places you can order it online. I don't recommend that. I'm not a doctor, etc., etc. Disclaimer. However, I can personally vouch for the effectiveness of Wellbutrin because ever since I started taking it, number 1, you have more energy. Okay, so that's obvious way to be more productive. Number 2, it's an appetite suppressant, so it makes limiting your eating frequency easier, which will give you more time, so indirectly makes you more productive. Number 3 is that it makes it so that you will do the things, it makes it very easy to do the things that you know you should do, but you don't actually want to do because, well, I don't know, whatever reason. I've said this before, but it's almost like a ghost is like moving me and making me do things. I'm like, I should, record some videos, for example. And it's like, well, I don't really want to. And then the Wellbutrin ghost comes and like physically picks me up and has me like by my marionette strings and like dances me over to the computer and makes me talk and do stuff for hours on end without me really caring. Also, Wellbutrin, great for verbal fluency. I remember back in my Uber driving days, I started taking Wellbutrin in the middle of my Uber driving career. And I noticed that as soon as I started taking it, I was getting a lot more engagement from my passengers because I was just on point with what I was saying. They were laughing at my jokes. They were talking to me more. I was more animated. Wellbutrin makes it very easy for you to fake being happy, I guess is really what it is. But as we all know, fake it till you make it. If you fake it long enough, it'll eventually be true. And I'm constantly surprised at how many times I have been in a situation, as I'm by myself, let's say in my room all day, and I'm like, when you're alone by yourself a lot, you get like a little more depressed on average, I would say. Just like get down because you're very flat. You're not talking, you're not animated, you're probably on the computer, you're probably on the phone, you're very passive, right? And I'm just like feeling kind of down. And then I'll leave, and then I'll just be out and about, and somehow I'll start talking to somebody, and like the engagement will turn on right away. I'll just be like, you can just turn it on immediately, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You can turn on the charm very easily. And I credit the Wellbutrin, because without that, I would not be able to do that. So how does that make you more productive? When you feel better, you will perform better. Straight up, like bottom line. If you're happy, you will do more. If you're depressed and you're sad and you're like mopey, you're not going to do anything. So like handle that stuff right now. I know it's tough to drag yourself out of the bucket, but do it. Do it right now. You know what else you should do right now? Click that like button, click that subscribe button, leave me a comment. Which out of these nootropics do you think is the best? Let me know. Which nootropics have I not gone over that you have questions about, that you've heard of, that you want my expert opinion on? Because by the length of this video, I'm clearly an expert. Anyway, like the video, subscribe, leave me a comment. Peace.